There are moments in history when the world goes quiet, not because the story is over, but because the storytellers have been forgotten. In a world often distracted by noise, Prince Harry, the Duke of Sussex, has always spoken loudest through actions. A veteran of war himself, he knows the weight of service, not just in medals, but in memories. From the battlefields of Afghanistan to the founding of the Invictus Games, his devotion to those who serve is not performative, it's personal. On the 80th anniversary of VJ Day, as Britain and her allies marked the end of the Second World War in the Far East, one voice reaches across continents and generations to honor those who stood unseen, uncelebrated, on the edge of human endurance. That voice is Prince Harry, Duke of Sussex. Welcome. This is Majesty Sussex Report, and I'm Antonio. Thank you for spending some of your valuable time here with us. Prince Harry is no stranger to the brutal truth of war. He has worn the uniform, tasted the dust of distant lands, and seen firsthand the toll that conflict takes on body, mind, and spirit. Through his service in Afghanistan and as the founder of the Invictus Games, he has made it his mission to honor the wounds, visible and invisible, carried by those who serve. This is not a performance for him, it is lived experience. It is empathy forged in the fire. Today, it has come to our attention that he silently paid tribute to the forgotten war, those who served in it. His tribute is not merely words, but a wreath laid with reverence at the Burma Star Memorial, and a letter written with the humility of a soldier to the soldiers who came before him. He writes not as a prince, but as a comrade acknowledging the courage of men and women who faced an enemy determined to the last, fought in unforgiving terrain, and endured years in jungles far from home, in conditions most could scarcely imagine. The Forgotten Army. What a name for those who gave everything. They fought in Burma, in the mountains and jungles under the sun that burned, against odds that overwhelmed, and with hope that flickered but never died. Theirs was the Far East campaign, an ordeal so severe, so distant from the front pages and parades, that their heroism almost faded into the mist of memory. They were called the forgotten, not because their sacrifices were small, but because the world, in its rush to move on, failed to see them. And yet, as Harry reminds us, their service was marked by grit, unity, and a sacrifice so profound that generations since, including his own, have been able to live in freedom. In his letter, Harry writes with the shadow of his grandfather behind him, Prince Philip, who served in the Pacific. He recalls the humility with which Philip spoke of those years and how deeply he respected all those stood beside him in that theater of war. It is a bound of legacy and of love, of hardship shared, and of friendships forged in fire. But what is silent leadership, if not the refusal to let those stories die? Harry's leadership does not boast, does not look for recognition. It stands steadfast beside the voiceless. His actions again and again insist that we look, that we truly look at those history nearly left behind. He sees them, he honors them, and he calls on us to do the same. On this anniversary, as wreaths are laid and heads are bowed, we are asked not only to remember the end of a war, but to honor the lives lost and the enduring friendships and hardships that since have taken root. It is a call to gratitude, a summons to humility. For if remembrance means anything, it is this: that the stories of the forgotten army, their courage, their struggle, their sacrifice, are not simply history. They are inheritance. They are the roots beneath our feet, the freedom in our lungs, the bond between strangers who became brothers or sisters. Let us, with Prince Harry, be humbled by their example. Let us be proud of their service and dedication. And let us vow with the deepest respect that their story or shared heritage must never, ever be forgotten. For in remembrance, we find not only the past, but the possibility of a kinder, more grateful future. We don't celebrate war, that is not what we do, but we celebrate the brave men and women who are sent to fight on our behalf.
Reading from Prince Harry, the Duke of Sussex letter to the Forgotten Army. To the Forgotten Army, on this 80th anniversary of VJ Day, we pause to remember the day the guns finally fell silent across the world, the true end of the Second World War. We also pause to recognize you, the men and women of the Forgotten Army, whose courage and endurance in the Far East campaign were anything but forgettable. You faced an enemy determined to the last, fought in unforgiving terrain, and endured months, even years, far from home, in conditions most could scarcely imagine. Your service in the jungles and mountains of Burma and beyond was marked by grit, unity, and sacrifice. It is because of that sacrifice that generations since, myself included, have been able to live in freedom. From the lessons of that bitter struggle came the understanding that even the fiercest of foes can, in time, become valued partners in peace. Today, as both our nations mark this anniversary, we acknowledge the respect earned, the lives lost, and the enduring friendship that has since taken root. For me, this anniversary carries an added layer of meaning. My late grandfather, Prince Philip, Duke of Edinburgh, served in the Pacific Campaign. He spoke with quiet humility about those years, but I know how deeply he respected all who stood beside him in that theatre of war. Today, as I think of him, I think also of each of you, of the shared hardships, the bonds forged, and the legacy you leave. I am humbled by your example, proud of your service and dedication, and profoundly grateful for what you endured. Your story is part of our shared heritage, and it must never be forgotten. With the deepest respect, thank you. Signature: Prince Harry, Duke of Sussex, The Forgotten Army.